Hello, everybody. It's me, Ross, and welcome to another edition of the League One Lowdown, where I speak to fans, podcasters, and journalists from each League One club to get their thoughts for the coming season. Today, I'm joined by Jack from the BrewersTV, Burton Albion fan. Well, it's good to have you still in League One. I was fearing that you were going to get relegated, but thankfully, Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank saved your asses. But Jack, thank you very much for joining me. Introduce yourself and how long have you been a Burton fan?
No, thank you very much for having me. So I've kind of been a Burton fan all my life, really. When I was younger, my dad's from Newcastle, so I kind of had a bit of Newcastle in me, but no, lived in Burton all my life, and growing up, that's slowly kind of gone to more and more games. I had a season ticket for 3 or 4 seasons now, and then probably 4 years ago, kind of got the YouTube channel up and running. I was doing a little bit of writing things on the side, but for the most part, I just kind of capture that match experience that it's a bit unusual compared to most clubs. It's normally, you think your big stadiums and, Ipswich, great example, big ground for League One. And we're obviously with our just under 7,000 capacity stadium, it was kind of give a little bit of a different perspective on being what at the time was one of the smallest clubs in the Championship. And it was a great time to do it as well. So, but no, thank you very much for having me. And Jimmy Floyd, big job for his last season, and hopefully long may it continue.
Definitely. We'll talk about transfer business. I just want to quickly say that I love going to Burton away. I've always enjoyed the away end and on pitch side, taking photos normally, but I just love being at small grounds like Burton Albion. It's brilliant. And it's very modern as well. You've got modern stuff there as well. And I can't wait to go to Burton because that is our first away day of the season. So I'm sure that is going to be a packed away end. But Jack, let's talk about Burton's transfer window. Jimmy Floyd's first full season in charge. He came in last year, and he's pretty much now made a big statement. He's brought in some great players. I won't name them. I'll let you take the floor on that. But what are the key ones that you're happy with, and anybody that you've lost?
Yeah, I mean, we mentioned off camera about kind of Ryan Edwards touching him. I think he's a huge loss for us, first of all, because he was kind of him and Sean Clare, who we had in on loan from Oxford. I think he's gone to Charlton now. But those two were the kind of key to turning our season around in the midfield. They kind of ran the show in there as a kind of worked really well as a pairing. And obviously, like I said, Sean Clare's moved on from Oxford, and Ryan Edwards wanted to move closer back to Australia. So he's obviously gone. I think he's gone to South Korea, I think it is. But no, he's a big loss for us. But I think we've made 11 signings now to kind of come in and replace him. Other than that, it was kind of, we did a lot of shifting the deadwood on a few players who just didn't quite ever make it for us. Colin Daniel is one who I think a lot of fans are quite happy to see move on. He's kind of been in and around League One a bit, never really worked from here. But we brought Louis Moulton, who looked like a really exciting player. Obviously, he had success in Scotland with Motherwell, and we've always had a good kind of history of signing these Scottish players. Unfortunately, in our friendly the other day against Leicester, he picked up an injury. It didn't look good for him. And obviously, he's got a bit of history with the injuries. So an exciting signing that hopefully he won't be out for too long. We also signed Tom O'Connor from Southampton, who, from what I've seen so far, looks like a really good player, kind of progressive midfielder by the looks of it. One to maybe replace kind of a similar job that Sean Clare did for us last season. He's looked really good so far, kind of moving the ball on, and young as well. And then in attack, just kind of strengthening the options that we have up there, because it's quite strong, obviously, with Molt up there. And then on the wing, we looked at Amaro Patrick from Carlisle, who had kind of decent success in League Two, and he's looked really good so far. Kind of tricky winger, can go either side of his man. He's looked really strong so far. So overall, like I said, a lot of signings that we've brought in. Hopefully, we can kind of get them to gel. And I'm sure if we can, then there's some smart signings in there, and they should propel us up the table.
And of course, I have to mention one man who is probably one of your best players ever is Scott Fraser. Of course, he joined NK Dons last year, did fantastic league, scored 14 goals. A lot of them were penalties, but still got to score them. He's joined us. A lot of people probably thought he was going to go on to the Championship, but he's joined the revolution that is at town, the new ownership and stuff. What was your thoughts on that when you saw that news, and how good was Scott Fraser for you guys?
He was incredible, really. He was kind of his first season with us. It was our first season back down from the Championship. We kind of picked him up, and he just kind of was adapting to the league a bit, but you could see the quality that he had. And obviously in that second season, before the pandemic, that kind of 3/4 of the season, he was absolutely immense there. And no, when he kind of decided he was going to leave us at the end of that season, I think everyone was kind of, we'll go to a championship club. And I suppose the same happened this time. Good season with MK Dons, scored against us, unfortunately. But no, I think it's a statement of intent from you, from Ipswich, to kind of, because I think he is a top quality player. I think from what I've seen of him when he was at Burton and the numbers he put in last season with MK Dons, he's easily going to be one of the best players in the league this season if you can kind of keep him fit and keep his head down. So no, it's a big statement of intent from you. But no, I certainly, with all due respect, you kind of we're looking maybe at one league higher. But then again, if Ipswich, you're building a strong squad together, if you can go up this season, then he'll be a really good player in the Championship as well.
I was going to go on to talk about Burton quickly, but let's quickly just carry on with Victories Town. And just as an outsider, you've just mentioned that with the signings and stuff, but what as an outsider, what you've been thinking about Town? Are we running away with the league? We're now being called Checkbook FC because of all the signings we're making. What's your thoughts on that?
I don't know. I think the league's a difficult one to predict this season because there's a lot of kind of good teams there. But no, I've seen he picked up Connor Chaplin the other day as well. I think he's been kind of knocking about in the Championship for a while with Barnsley. He's always been a player that kind of, we see that is on the opposition team, you get a little bit nervous. I think you brought, was it Raheem Harper in as well from West Brom, which I think is a quality signing because he really has looked like a top young player for me. So if you can kind of get him to work in that midfield, you certainly look like a strong team. There's a lot of them in this league though, so I won't go making any crazy predictions just yet. But no, I think Ipswich will definitely be kind of there or thereabouts this season.
Cool.
For sure.
Cool. Let's talk about Burton Albion. That's why we're here. Let's talk about this season ahead. Last year, I'm sure a lot of Burton fans were fearing, oh, God, we're going to be heading back to League Two, but you stayed up. What's your feelings going into this season? Jimmy's made some really good signings, as you've said, and what's your ambitions this season? League One is going to be so open. So many teams going to be fighting for promotion. So many big teams. Sheffield Wednesday coming down. You've got Sunderland. You've got Portsmouth. You've got Ipswich Town. Burton Albion. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of hit the nail on the head there. It's a really dense league this season. Like I said, a lot of teams are really going to be wanting to go and do something impressive. And we'll definitely be looking up from last season. Kind of, hopefully, we'll bring the momentum through with us because we went on, like you said, a kind of ridiculous run after January. And Jimmy came in and we just kind of couldn't stop pulling out good result after good result. I'd take a mid-table finish, to be honest, just because I would say you look at some of the teams that are making signings, even, those from lower down, like Wigan have, splashed a lot of cash, getting some really good players in, obviously, with their kind of new regime there as well. So there's a lot of teams that are really kind of, I'm a little bit scared of. But I'd take just a solid, comfortable mid-table finish for us this season. And let some of the big boys get out and then hopefully sneak our way in a couple of years' time.
And as I said earlier in the video, that our first away game of the season is at Burton. It's always nice. So we always play Burton early doors, definitely in August, away from home, and always in the nice August sunshine. What do you reckon we can expect from that? It's going to be the second league game of the season. I think you kick off your campaign at Shrewsbury Town. So depends on how both our results. We've got Morecambe at home, so that result can go either way. But what can you expect from that game? I know always against Burton, it's always been a tight affair. There's not been many goals. There's been a few goals here and there, but I think last season was 2-1 and 1-0 against each other. I think we won both the games. But what can you expect from that? And what sort of football is Jimmy playing?
I think last season with Jimmy, when he came in, because it was kind of everything was a bit hectic, we had to go a bit functional, a bit direct at times, and very kind of very traditional English football, kind of hit them on the break with pace. We've got Johnny Smith, who's been a great signing for us, and we just kind of, we had Tom Hamer, who we brought in as well. Incredible long throw. I'm sure you'll get the pleasure of seeing that, the ball dropping in your 6-yard box from the sideline. But no, we kind of had to revert to a little bit of a traditional style. But this season, from pre-season, how we've kind of played, seems there is a bit more emphasis on getting the ball on the floor, keeping it, maintaining possession a bit more, and just kind of dominating the game in a different way. Whereas before we just kind of slowed the game down a little bit more, kind of forced the opposition into making risky passes, and then countered from that. We're kind of turning it on its head a little bit by the looks of it and looking to pass our way through, which I like the sound of. But of course, we do know that, against some of the better teams, I'm sure we've got the options to go a little bit more counter-attacking, which is what Jimmy did so successfully with us the first time. Was we hit teams on the break. Sometimes it wouldn't be pretty. It wasn't, like watching Barcelona or anything. But we got the ball inside the box, and there was always someone there to put it away. So maybe we kind of combine a bit of the both. But we'll probably see a kind of quite a fluid counter-attacking style would be my prediction. We've got a lot of pace on the wings now, so they're the real danger kind of danger zone from us, and we'll look to use that, I'm sure.
And one name that always stands out for me is Lucas Akins. I swear, every time I watch Burton play, he's just a beast, and he's just a fantastic player. And I know a lot of Town fans, when we play Burton, that's the one name we always talk about. Is he still about, and is he still in very much in Jimmy's plans? I know he's 32 now.
Yeah, he's still about and kicking. He's a legend at the club. I think every kind of fan that you speak to loves him. He seems like a really genuine guy. When you bump into him, or whatever, he's really kind of down to earth and that. But no, he's been kind of. There was a few murmurs that he'd be joining Nigel Clough at Mansfield over the summer, but he's under contract for another year. He's been putting in good performances in pre-season, so he looks like he's raring to go for another one. I think it's either his 7th or his 8th year at the club now, so obviously an incredible spell for him. A great player for the club, and no, like I said, he's still very much here. When Jimmy came in, he had a bit of a revival himself, kind of had gone from being kind of pushed back to maybe right back at times, or playing up front on his own to his traditional right midfield or left midfield position, cutting inside. Got a few goals on the score, got a few goals down, and yeah, he looks like someone who we've got a lot of depth now, but I'm sure he'll be one of the first names on the team sheet if he kind of can keep it up and keep pushing. But there's a lot of players knocking the door as well, so I'm sure he'll be an important player for us, but maybe not as key as he has been in the previous seasons, just because of how big our squad is.
Okay, and then before we wrap up, is there anything else you'd like to add? Are you looking forward to hopefully coming to Porton Road as well?
Oh yeah, Ipswich is kind of, although it's a bit of a pain to get to from us, as I'm sure it is for a lot of people, it's a very nice kind of place, a nice part of the world. It's a bit of a change up from some of the grounds you go to nowadays, kind of, down those streets, and obviously you've got the away end, which is tucked up in the corner on the side. So no, it's a nice ground to come to. Looking forward to it. Like I said, it's a nice kind of area and a bit of a change from this kind of rather industrial brewing atmosphere that we've got here. So no, looking forward to it, and hopefully we'll take the 3 points as well this time.
Oh, there we go. Loved. Great talk there. Well, I cannot wait to head to the Pirelli Stadium early doors in the season. Jack, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much for joining me. That's another edition of the League One Lowdown done. Let us know in the comments down below, Burton fans, Town fans, what you think for the coming season. I'll be back for another edition of the League One Lowdown very soon, so stay tuned.